Welcome back. Another week, airing it out. As you can see, wait. Oh, no, he's not behind that. Oh, I'm by myself today. Um, Airing it out on the Fubo Sports Network. Orlando Scandrick, is he? Oh, he's on Zoom. Sorry, everyone. This won't happen often. Holidays, he had to fly out, spend Thanksgiving with his family. But we've been making bets, and he doesn't have enough money to get a plane ticket, so I'm gonna send him an Uber to get him next time. So I'm taking all this money with these bets we making on these games. Thanksgiving, we bet Patriots, Vikings. I won that one as well. As you guys, if you follow along, you see what's going on. How you doing? How are you? Miss
Man,
you.
I'm doing cool. Boy, lying. He's keeping my condo warm. Be abundantly clear. He did win the Vikings bet, but I won the Seahawks bet. So we're about even right now. But sorry to our fans, our followers. Had something unforeseen come up. As you do know, I have a pregnant fiance. Had a very important day today and some
He
things that I had to
love her
handle.
pregnant fiance. Boy, he
had a
love
very
her.
had a very important date that I had to handle. But nonetheless, I'm here to argue with TJ. I don't got to smell his breath
It's not even an
on the Gulf
argument.
Coast.
It's not even an argument. It's me prove you wrong.
What's the Vikings record?
They're number 2 in the NFC. The last I checked.
Okay, nice. What about
Doing
Seahawks?
doing very well. They're on their way to the
What about
playoffs.
Seahawks?
They're on their way to the playoffs.
They barely a 500
We just
team.
we'll be all over the place with this just because you brought this up. Give me your playoff teams. If the playoffs were to start, who's making the playoffs in the NFC?
Right now, at the playoffs sort of start, I got Eagles as my 1 seed. My 2 seed is the Dallas Cowboys.
The Vikings would be the 2 seed because the Cowboys are in the same division of the Eagles. They can't be the number 2 seed, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. So the Vikings would be the 2 seed, and then the 3 seed would be the Cowboys.
No, they
my
can't.
4
It would
seed.
be a divisional winner, which would probably be the
Oh,
Niners.
sorry. Which were the Niners. Oh, sorry. The Niners.
And then the
Sorry.
Bucks.
And then the Bucks. And then my wild card teams are the Cowboys. At this point in time, the Commanders have the same record as yours truly. Same record.
Now,
What the beer man at quarterback?
the Commanders in
Yeah.
division, they will have to play, I believe, the Cowboys again.
Yeah, who do you guys got to play in your division?
Who's you guys? Are you
Yo,
talking?
your Seahawks.
I believe the
Fighting Geno
Seahawks are
Smiths.
going to make the playoffs, and yes, they do have to play the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
The Seahawks had a stumble yesterday. They just couldn't stop the run.
They can't stop a fucking nosebleed.
They didn't play the way they've been playing on defense, and so that kind of hurts them. But they're going to get in the playoffs. When they get in the playoffs, I guess you'll do Zoom again because you really ain't handle money.
I text my man TJ during the game. I said, TJ, now we're about to see the real Geno. Then I even sent him a little nice gift.
Hey, Geno didn't play bad though. He didn't play bad.
He had 2 turnovers. He should have had 3 turnovers. He had 2. When you turn the ball over, you lose.
He didn't play bad. They couldn't stop.
How many
the run.
turnovers he had?
Derek Carr had 2 as well.
How many did he have?
I don't recall. I don't
2.
dwell on negative.
Interception.
I
you wrote
tried
it to
to
me.
accentuate.
You wrote it. You said that fumble is going to cost me my $500.
Yes. Yeah.
And it did.
It did. It hurt me, but it is what it is. Now, let's get to the Sunday night football game. Packers, Eagles. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, and we said if the Packers lost to the Eagles, is it time for the Packers to say, you know what, Aaron? Let's see what we have with Jordan Love.
I think so. But this is what's the hard situation because I spent this morning when I was in the car on the way from the doctor, just looking at the contractual situation. And as we all know, they guaranteed Aaron Rodgers over $100 million, which 59 of it is coming next year. So what do they do with that part of it?
Let somebody else pay him, and you just whatever cap hit it is.
I mean, but it's
going
to have to be one of those. It's going to have to be one of those type of situations where you're going to have to pay some of that salary.
No, bro. This is you act like Aaron Rodgers is Bob Rodgers or something. He's still Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, no, but at the end of the day, $60 million for 1 year is a lot.
Listen, the reason, so it comes out during the week, I've been playing with an avulsion fracture in my thumb. My thumb is broken. He wants everybody to know You
I
guys
believe
are
him.
talking about the throws that I missed. I'm letting you guys know I'm playing with a broken thumb on my throwing hand, and so that's why I'm missing throws. That's why I'm not playing. So he was getting ahead. He was getting out in front of this, letting everybody know,
Yeah,
hey,
but at the end of the day, he's 40 years old. He ain't getting any younger.
listen, you're gonna trade for Aaron Rodgers. If you win a Super Bowl, it's worth it. If you have a
I
chance to
mean,
win a Super Bowl, it's worth it.
I see him. I see him going to the 49ers, and I see it being a match made in heaven. But I mean,
So if
the
you're
Packers are
the
going to want.
Packers, are you rolling with Jordan Love the rest of this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have to. I have to see exactly what he got. I have to see where we are. Obviously, we're just not an Aaron Rodgers away. The Packers, they need to get younger on the offensive line. Christian Watson is actually really, really showing up. Uh, they need to get a younger tight end, and they just need to find ways to get better on defense. I don't think they ever replaced that pass rush presence of Zadarius Smith with him going over to Minnesota, and I don't think we talk about that enough. But that was a huge loss for them.
They'll get rid of Joe Barry and have a new defensive coordinator next year. That's where they've fallen off defensively. They've
Yeah,
fallen off, and so you never want to see coaches, lose their jobs because you uproot a whole entire family. It's not just the coach,
yeah.
but that's going to be the next step. Is Joe Barry will probably lose his job. If I'm the Green Bay Packers, I'm going with Jordan Love the rest of the season. He came in, he looked good. Now, it was a very
Think,
small sample size, but he looked good.
but I think that when Brian Gutekunst, when you drafted him, like those are the decisions that you have to make. Aaron Rodgers is a great player. He's one of the Packers' greats. At the end of the day, this is a business. And, if you can get something in return, and our Gutekunst going to be uprooting his family if he doesn't replace Aaron Rodgers. And um, you want to give Jordan Love a chance to play. He sat behind. He's had a chance to soak up the knowledge from Aaron, and you want to give him a chance to play. I want to
If
see him play.
if Jordan Love can't be an NFL quality starting quarterback right now, he will never be one. He's been in
I
the
agree.
system for years. He's watched one of the all-time greats play and prepare for years. If you can't do it now, you're just not that guy.
But
And they need to find
honestly,
that out.
I mean, they have a good running game, so they can bring him along slowly. And shit, they're playing for nothing. They're not playing for anything.
He looked good though.
So
So I'm
I
rolling
agree.
with Jordan Love. I need to see what he can give us. And if he
But
can,
what? Okay, now let's just fast forward. When you do get ready to move Aaron Rodgers, what do you want in return?
oh, a
'Cause I think
first
you're gonna
round
have
pick for
buyers.
sure.
I think you're gonna have buyers.
First, I'm
Las
trying to
Vegas,
get whatever I can. For sure, a first round pick. He's gonna play 2 to 3 years minimum. More.
Listen,
It's well
I'm
worth
calling
it.
the Las Vegas. I'm calling the Las Vegas Raiders, and I'm asking them. I want a first round pick. I want a first round pick, and I want Darren Waller.
I don't. Number one, that's not gonna happen because the
Why
Raiders.
not?
When you say a first round pick, I'll be honest. I'm not giving you where the Raiders are right now, a top 5 pick. I'm
All
not.
right. So then
I'm
I
not doing
so
that.
then I so then I so then I called the 49ers. The 49ers gave up multiple first round picks to get a guy that was unproven in Trey Lance. And I'm offering you a guy that can make you a Super Bowl contender.
If Aaron Rodgers can get to a team like the 49ers, say the 49ers don't win a Super Bowl this year with Jimmy G, then for me, you go to the 49ers. You go to teams that feel like they may be a quarterback away, that has a good team. So outside of the 49ers, who else would it be? I mean, the Saints have
I
a
mean,
really good defense. They're really good on offense. The quarterback position is holding them back, but I don't see Aaron Rodgers wanting to play in New Orleans.
the Saints don't have any money.
Listen, everybody has money.
The Saints don't
They'll
got 60
find they'll
million for a
find
quarterback.
money. You know that. They'll
No.
find money.
The
They'll make
Saints
it work.
no. They've already robbed Peter to pay Paul to keep Drew Brees for a long time. That's why Sean Payton quit.
They can find a way to make it work. Now, let's go to the Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles. Both teams look really good. Both quarterbacks played really well. And I'm gonna throw another team in there and say the Dolphins and Tua. Where we sit today, MVP. Jalen Hurts, Patrick
It's either
Mahomes, or
Jalen. It's either
Tua.
Jalen Hurts or It's either Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes, but I'm gonna start leaning towards Jalen Hurts with a date circled on my calendar. Um, just Christmas. Uh, that's gonna be a huge game in a hostile environment. You know,
Tell me who
I
they
expect
play.
them. I expect I expect a split down in Jerry's world, just because the Eagles defense right now is a little bit shaky, and I don't know when they're gonna get back Jordan Davis. But that was like their plug in the middle. They play that 5-man line a lot. They like to rotate, but I think if they can get that big guy back, that'll shore up their defense. But right now, that defense is a little bit leaky.
Now, when you talk MVP, there's so many more snaps to play, so many more games to play. It's kind of hard to say who's going to be the MVP, but right now it would come down to those three.
But the reason why I say Hurts is because I look at MVP as the most valuable player on the best team. If you take Jalen Hurts off the Philadelphia Eagles, they're probably a one in 1-9
Now
team.
they probably have. I'd give them
But
4-6, 3-7.
The Chiefs have shown the ability when Patrick had that scare to function without him. And I just think that where we are right now today, Jalen Hurts is the most valuable player in the league. I mean, this guy could you told me at the beginning of the year, this dude the real deal. I said, I don't know,
you.
TJ. I don't know.
I
I don't know
told
about
you.
his passing. This dude has shown the ability outside of the one loss that they did have. If Quez Watkins doesn't fumble the deep post route after he puts the dime on him, they might be still undefeated.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
If they don't miss the oblivious face mask penalty with the forced fumble, and I mean, I was kind of like negative on like backing up the Brinks truck, but shit, you better back it up now. Back it up.
All right.
He might need two. He gonna need two in a minute.
All right, it's good to see that you're coming along now.
It's just the fact that he's a bigger body kid, but also what he does as well when he runs is he's not afraid to give himself up. Like he don't take these hits. He don't take the hits that you see Josh Allen take. He don't take the hits that you see Justin Fields and Lamar take. He's a smart player. He getting down. He getting out of bounds. Like you can tell. And I listened to one thing when I was watching the game yesterday. He said this is the first time he's had the same offensive coordinator since high school with his father. Because remember, he was at Alabama, and then they lost their coach, and then he left Alabama, and then he spent a year with Oklahoma, and then he was there with Doug, and now this is the first time. So you can tell he's really, really comfortable. He looks comfortable. He looks confident, and the players are really giving it up for him.
All right, we're going to go into this topic, and this is going to be interesting because for people that are watching and listening, when the Jets benched Zach Wilson, we were texting back and forth, and initially I was like, I don't agree with the benching. And then I said that in a text message. And I thought about it, and I text Orlando and others back, and I said, you know what? They need to bench him. They made the right decision. Obviously, Orlando was on the other side of that. He believed that Zach Wilson should not have been benched. Now, when you look at, obviously, the Jets won, Mike White played well, like I told you he would. Do you still believe that they went about it the wrong way?
I believe they did go about it the wrong way because I believed if you were benching him for his play, bench him for his play. That should have been done. I also believe that if you felt and if you knew that Mike White was this much better than him, why didn't you just play him in week 1?
You know that doesn't happen. You know the answer to that. When you're drafted number 2, that's not going to happen.
Now, what do we do going forward? Because the Jets aren't going to make the playoffs. I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to be straight up. They're not going to make the playoffs. Mike White had one really good game against a really porous team, and we know that. Let's just be real about this whole thing. The Jets are going to go play the Vikings next week, and they're going to get fucking smashed, and they're going to be right back to 500 and square zero. And now, what do you do going forward?
Listen, okay, you were in a locker room many years.
Yeah.
You benched Zach Wilson because of the other 52 guys, not because of the one. You bench him because of the 52 guys. You can't have that nonchalant attitude. Like, if you play bad, hey, did you feel like you let the team down? Hell yeah, I let the team down. I played like shit. This is on me. If he says that, there's no problem. But he didn't say that. You have to do what's best for the team, not what's best for one player. Now, if Zach Wilson is who he thinks he is, he'll be okay. If Zach
So what do we
Wilson
do
is
going
who he
forward?
thinks,
What do you do going forward?
if Mike White continues to win, Zach Wilson will no longer be a quarterback for the Jets.
So as soon as Mike White loses, he deserves to lose.
No,
it's not.
It's not as soon as Mike White loses. It's as soon as Mike White shows me he's not the best quarterback on the team. Because let's just say what it is. Zach Wilson, when you're drafted number 2, we want you to play. We don't want you on the bench. We want you to play. And so that's why Mike White is going to have to be at his best every game, because ultimately the plan is for Zach Wilson to be the quarterback of the future, because Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh, they drafted him number 2. They drafted him number 2. So they want him to succeed. But this is up to Zach Wilson. You got to think about this. You got to give Saleh a lot of credit. How many people are going to bench the number 2 draft pick in his second year and go with a guy that was drafted in the 5th round from Western Kentucky?
A quarterback, a coach that didn't draft him. Salah got the cheetah. You know how this shit works.
Saleh did draft him. What you mean?
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. No, he did. This is second year. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But Salah got the juice right now. When you got the juice and you go into the general manager and you saying, look, and we don't know what those conversations is. We don't know if
is it the juice or we got a chance for the playoffs and they don't want to blow it.
They not going to the fucking playoffs. Like, let's be real. Like, come on, man.
Okay.
Come on, TJ.
We started the show with the NFC. Give me your playoff teams for the AFC right now.
The Chiefs.
Yep.
The Chiefs, the Chargers. I'm gonna say those two out the West.
Okay.
Right. And then we got the Dolphins, the Bills. Right? They in the East.
Yep.
Right? Let's go to the North. We got the Vikings.
No. The AFC North. That's the Bengals.
Okay, sorry. The North. We got the Bengals and we got the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the Bengals and we got the Ravens. And then what's the
AFC South? Tennessee, Colts, Texans, Jags.
Just Tennessee.
So one of those teams can't make it because there's only going to be 2 wild cards. So you said Chiefs, Chargers.
So okay, let me give you the 4 division winners. The West.
There we go.
The West is the Chiefs.
Yep.
The South is the
Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. The North is the Bengals.
Okay.
Okay, and then the
East. Who you got? The Bills or the Dolphins?
The Bills.
Now between the Jets, the Dolphins, the Ravens, the Chargers. That's 4 teams. Only 2 of them can make it.
Okay. So the 2 that I'm going to have to make it is going to be the Dolphins and the Chargers or the Ravens. The Patriots own the tiebreaker because they beat the Jets twice. That's tough right there.
The Jets.
They beat them twice.
I also don't believe I don't believe the Jets are going to make the playoffs just because the AFC is just too many really good teams. When you talk Ravens and Bengals, who's going to win that division? Whoever doesn't win that division, we would assume they're not just going to fall on their face. They'll make it. The Chargers, I assume they're good enough to make it, but I don't know. I would have.
But you got the Dolphins making it, correct?
I have the Dolphins.
It's an extra wild card team. It's an extra wild card team.
I do have the Dolphins making it. I mean, the way the Dolphins playing, let's be honest, they might win the division, bro. The Dolphins might win the division.
There's an extra wild card team, though. Remember, they added an extra playoff.
Yeah. So
and it's going. The Jets ain't making it. They behind the 8 ball.
I don't believe the Jets are going to make it, but they have a chance to make it. And as long as you have a chance,
they do.
That's why you do what you did with Zach Wilson.
I agree.
You just can't handle it the way he handled it. No.
I don't think the disparity. This is why I think they fucked up. The difference between talent and Mike White and Zach Wilson is not that much. And the more you let Mike White play,
what type of talent are you talking though? Like physical talent, or are we talking mental talent?
Both. When I look at them throws that Mike White is making, some of them throws I ain't seen Zach White make. Zach White. Some of them throws I ain't seen Zach Wilson make since pro day, and pro day is a wet t-shirt contest. Ain't no pads on, ain't no pass rush. So the way that Mike White is out there throwing that thing, I don't think the talent is. And we all know, shit, we was later round picks. We didn't been and seen some dudes that was first round picks and be like, these motherfuckers sorry. And ain't no way in hell it's a 132 player difference between me and this person. Ain't no way in the
Yeah,
hell there was a fucking 200 player difference between you and Chad. I don't care. There's not 200 players. You know what I'm saying? So the more that they expose this and make this abundantly clear, the harder this decision is going to be down the line. Because every time
I agree.
Zach Wilson continues to show who he is and has a little temper tantrum, then the guys are gonna say, why don't we just roll with Mike White? Like, why don't we just? So I think that this has created a problem that's gonna go on and on forward. Now, hopefully, Zach Wilson accepts the challenge and gets in his books. But I mean, I don't know, man. This kid's from a small college. He's been given everything. Now you expect him to earn it. It's just like we talk about our kids. Like they
Hey,
all understand the value
did
of
you
nothing, but
see the
we'll see.
weather in that game when they played the Bears?
Yeah, yeah,
Rain, crazy weather, 466 yards of offense.
yes.
Zach Wilson has 4 touchdowns in 7 starts this year. Mike White just had 3 touchdowns in 1 game. And we know this. They would like Zach Wilson to get out of his own way and be the guy they drafted and play the way they expect him to play by being a number 2 draft pick.
But do you remember when he did get drafted? Do you remember who his last game was against and how bad he looked against Coastal Carolina and how they got blown out? Remember that game? They got beat really bad.
He was
That was
drafted
the
number 2
toughest.
because physically, he's a really good athlete. His body is twitchy, and he has a great arm. Like, he was drafted off of potential, and
Yeah.
he just handled things the wrong way. Like,
So was Jamarcus Russell. He's a really good athlete. He was big and he had a great arm. You know what he couldn't do? Get out of his own way. This is the same guy. Remember that he was the guy that handed the DVD and said, "Tell us what plays you like." And then he comes in the next day and the coach.
I
asks
wonder
him.
how true that is, man. I mean, because that's that
Kurt
could be
Morrison
a lot
was
of
on the team at
hearsay.
the time, and he said it was true.
But I mean, the Zach Wilson thing again. If you are who you think you are, this is a bump in the road. Now, if Mike White turns out and continues to play well, it's over for Zach Wilson. There's nothing Zach Wilson can do to get this job back if Mike White plays well. I mean, I told you, I said Mike White, I remember Mike White because last year he lit the Bengals up for over 400 yards. That's why I remember exactly who he was. I'm like, wow, the Bengals lost to the Jets. What? Buddy threw for 400 yards, and it was Mike White, Western Kentucky Hilltopper. He was ready to go.
I mean, but you just know how it is when you're in the middle of the season. You go from you don't get no first team snaps.
He getting them
You ain't the
now.
back. You ain't. No, I'm talking about Zach Wilson. You're not the backup. You better go ahead and run these cards. And it's hard. And when you get into that card mode where it's you gotta throw it here. He looks like this and do this. Like when you young, that shit make you starting to feel sorry. Like when it's like you like. And I know how you was probably your first year. You like I don't run it like this. This shit's stupid. And the defense, they want to see you running like this because this is what they say it looks like on film. It's hard to get out of that card mode.
Scout, you played, to me, when I did scout team, it was a way for me to work on stuff. It was a way for me to see what would work because I'm going against a starting defense. And so if I'm Zach Wilson, that's exactly how I approach it. When we run a play, I'm calling that play like it's our play in the huddle, and I'm going to read it how we would read it, and I'm going to throw it anticipation.
In today's football, they don't have enough practice time. The shit's circled.
Yeah, they circle where they want you to go with the ball, but at times you just got to be like, bro, I'm trying to get better.
Think about, and I know you as a person. Think about when you was a player and you was going against a scout team DB and he did some shit that the other team's DB wasn't going. He ain't gonna do it like that. I can hear you right now. They don't play it like that. I can hear your voice.
No, we would always tell our DBs, me and Chad, man, play how y'all want to play. You don't know how they gonna play in man to man. Play how they gonna play. Play how they gonna play.
I remember going against T.O. and he would be so mad, bro. Like, they don't play it like this. And if you this damn good, why you don't play on Sundays? I'm like, I don't know that.
And they were like, we're taking people into the practices of. Now, I will say this. If we have like a special play installed, like a new play, our offensive coaches would go to the defense and say, hey, this is how they're going to play it. I want you to do this, and the safety, you do this. So they would tell them pre-snap exactly what they want, on scout teams so that the quarterback gets the look that they expect to
Bro,
get.
I'm telling you, I remember they told me this one time we was running like it was like a double over, but then one of the overs broke up. They told the safety, as soon as you see this over, he's gonna jump right down there. And I remember being on scout team, bro. I'm outside leverage. This nigga's still running right now. The dude is whoever the receiver is that caught the touchdown is still running scot free. And I remember how mad I was. I'm like, how am I supposed to get better like that?
I mean, but
And
that's the nature of the game, and so for
yeah, and
Zach
that's why I
Wilson,
think
he
it's gonna
has
be
to make
hard
he has
though.
to turn this into a positive. We know how the NFL works.
Yeah.
They want him to play, but they are not going to sacrifice the other 52 players if
Yeah, and
he
I
does
mean they
not
made the right
improve.
decision. They made the right decision because you need to show that you're going. Even if they don't make the playoffs, if they're not good enough, if they're not there yet, they need to show like they need to continue to make improvement, and they are making improvement. And what I am going to say, and who I am going to give credit to is Elijah Moore. He figured out a way to shut his mouth, and he showed up, and he
He
made
balled
some big
out. Yeah,
plays
he
in that
played
game, and
well.
I'm happy for him.
Now, this just coming out of nowhere, I'm just sitting here thinking about, I'm going to ask you this question. Do you believe like there truly are busts in the NFL? Like when a guy's drafted really high and he's classified as a bust, is he really a bust? Or what, in my opinion, I don't believe
Didn't
there's busts. I don't
No,
believe.
I mean, we went back and forth about this. I just believe you didn't live up to your potential. Somebody believed. Sometimes you don't go to the right situation. Sometimes you don't enter the right situation. I think that had I been drafted higher, I was really immature. And I'm still maturing as a man. And I think that given that type of money, and you kind of loses your work ethic. I think that
I,
having to earn it and having to get there pushed me.
I bring that up because if Zach Wilson doesn't reclaim the starting spot, they're going to say he's a bust.
No,
And you're not drafted that high and you just all of a sudden can't play. And the reason I
I
bring it
mean,
up is because for 2 years in the same division, they said Tua was a bust. They
I'm gonna
said
give you
Tua
another
was a
name.
bust.
I'm gonna give you a name that turned out to be a damn good NFL player, very solid quarterback, and they labeled him a bust. Alex Smith. Alex Smith turned out to be a solid
Because
quarterback.
when you're drafted number one, they expect
Yeah,
greatness. And also, it's not that. It's because you were drafted one and Aaron Rodgers was drafted in the 20s.
yeah.
So he's being compared to Aaron Rodgers, but I look at Tua. He gets drafted. He has 3 offensive coordinators in 2 years. Tua.
Mhm.
Brian Flores didn't seem to believe in him. Everybody was saying Tua can't play. Let's go get Deshaun Watson. Let's go get Tom Brady. Tua gets Mike McDaniels. He's by far and away one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I was one who said prior to this season, Tua is going to go off because he has weapons and he has a coach that believes in him. But they were saying Tua is a bust. So this shows like in the National Football League, coaching matters, man.
Yeah, but
Coaching
see,
really
these coaches,
matters.
these coaches. That's the thing about it is they draft these players, and then, and let's take everybody into the draft room. That they're figuring out reasons not to draft you, not reasons to draft you. It's more people saying not to draft you than there is to say to draft you. And at the end of the day, you got to go into the situation, and you still have to be developed. I don't care where you were. The college is a bunch of kids. NFL is grown men. College, you stay there 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 if you get hurt. In the NFL, no one is going to give you their
You
job.
know who
Nobody.
Mike McDaniels looked like? He's a coach that can develop,
Yeah.
but we're talking developing. Who would you say? Because I have an opinion about the answer or the question I'm going to ask you. Who would you say does a really good job of developing young guys in the National Football League now? Which coaching staff?
Um, I would say a staff that does a good job of developing young players, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nobody remembers Deontay Johnson when they drafted him. He's a lower round draft pick. Another staff that drafted and develops young players is the Kansas City Chiefs. They consistently find playmakers. Consistently. I'm You just look at Isaiah Pacheco, uh, Travis Kelce was a third round draft pick. They could have
Shit,
won
Tyreek Hill was a fifth rounder.
a fifth round draft pick, and Tyreek Hill should have been drafted much higher. He had some things that was going on that he got kicked out of Oklahoma State, ended up going to a different. And another team that I would say is doing a great job at drafting and developing players is Shanahan's staff with the 49ers.
They
And
do a good
you tell me
job.
what you think.
Yeah. Now, I'm just gonna give you one team because as soon as I asked that question, one team popped in my head was Pete Carroll and the Seahawks. They do
Oh
a good
yeah,
job. They do a really good job.
but the thing about Pete Carroll and the Seahawks is you need coaching continuity to develop players because you can't keep switching coaches in the continuity because when you're a
He's done
staff
it
that has
though. I mean,
continuity,
he's had Chris Richard as a defensive coordinator. He's had Ken Norton as a defensive coordinator. I mean, he's kind of turned that
I'm gonna tell you,
over on the
and I'll tell
defensive side.
and but they all were with each other. Like, they all were with each other. That Chris Richard and Ken Norton worked, but they're still Pete Carroll on his corners the same way
But
all
there's
along.
just no way you draft Richard Sherman as late as you do, Hall of Fame. Bobby Wagner, third
Second
day
round.
pick, Hall of Fame.
No, Bobby Wagner's a second round pick.
I thought he went in the third round.
No, he's an early second round pick.
So, okay, he went in the second round. Russell Wilson, late round pick,
Third round pick.
was on his way to the Hall of Fame. I don't know if that's the case. We'll get into that later. And then you look at this draft class now. You look at where they drafted DK, Tyler Lockett, and the guy, Pete Carroll. He does a good job.
The things about it is, I'm going to tell you something. They're all the same mold. The guy that they have there now, Woolen is whatever. Wooten?
Yeah,
His name?
yeah. Woolen.
Same body type as Richard Sherman, right?
Yeah, but he
Okay,
got
hear me
track
out.
speed.
Same body type though, right?
4'2"
So,
though.
and then if you go, okay, no, he can go. Okay, and then if you look at DK Metcalf, taller, longer, same body type as when they went and signed Sidney Rice. If you look at Tyler Lockett, same exact body type as basically they drafted Doug Baldwin's replacement. It's just like they have a system of what they draft, and you can do that when you have the same coaches. When you keep flipping these coaches over, the first thing a coach come in there and say is, "Oh, I didn't really want him," because it's buying him some time. It's like a cop out. It's not. I'm not gonna move my system to fit this player. It's like, some coaches believe the system is the system, and that's how it was when I played for Monty Kiffin. It was like the system is the system. It works. Like, all right, bro, but shit evolves. Like I don't do the same things as Rondé Barber.
I mean, you're a little different, a little bigger, a little faster. All right.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, no, I get exactly
like
what you're
McDaniels
saying.
didn't come in there and say
McDaniels, he
Tua.
completely changed Tua, and he didn't teach Tua how to throw the ball. Tua could always throw the ball.
Yes.
You know what he showed Tua? Belief. I believe in you. I trust you.
But he also didn't come in there and try and make Tua play like Garoppolo. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Dude,
like, that's also a difference.
Tua was a really good quarterback in college, but he had really good receivers. And he played with a confidence in college to where it was like, man, this dude is so accurate. And he gets to the league and all of a sudden he can't play? No, and so that's why I felt like Tua was going to be really good this year, and he is. But I got to give credit to McDaniels because it's that belief that he gave and he showed Tua that I believe in you, I trust you, and he's taken off. So let's go to this. Let me ask you this. I know a lot of people have been saying, oh man, the 49ers, they're the team to come out the NFC. The 49ers is going to go to the Super Bowl. The 49ers this, the 49ers that. And yeah, they beat the Saints team yesterday that they're struggling. 13-0. 13-0, bro. The score was 13-0.
They don't care how they win, though. Jimmy gonna have to play better because every game is not gonna be in San Francisco. They're not gonna have the number one seed. The Eagles have shown that they can score points. You don't know which Dallas team you're gonna get. You might get this Dallas team that's
you might get the Dallas team that we saw Thursday against the Giants, or we might.
Or you
which
might get
one?
The team you see
or the team against the Vikings.
Giants. Or you might get the team for the whole. You don't know which team you're gonna get, but when you can't score points, it's a recipe for disaster in January. When you can't score at least 20 points, it's a recipe for disaster.
Everybody is, man, why the 49ers want to move off Jimmy G? Why did they want to have Trey Lance as a starter? And games like yesterday against the Saints, that's the reason why. That's the reason why.
TJ, when you can't score at least 20 points, it's a recipe for disaster.
Exactly. And so we're on the same page with this, but there's others that are in close proximity to me When I walked in, 49ers going to the Super Bowl. I'm like,
Oh,
huh?
because they just look at Jimmy G has a great record. But
40 and 19. 40 and
those are the same
19.
49er fans that was saying we got friends in group chats that's like, bro, I need to go fight Jimmy G, bro. I gotta personally fight him. you know, and these are the same people that said like Super Bowl and yeah,
But
they got
games
a great.
like this are the reason Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch were ready to move off of Jimmy G. That's why.
That's why I gotta.
That's
That's why I
why.
gotta call. That's the main reason why I gotta call the Packers. I gotta call them.
They know. They know in order to win, there's going to be times like we talked about the best quarterbacks in the league. At most, they're going to have 2 bad games a year, maximum. Maximum
But
2 games a year bad.
But with Jimmy G, like I can't even put my finger on like what makes him not like the guy. Like I don't like.
He's good,
He throws
but
a good ball. He throws a good ball. He's got good mechanics, but then he just does some shit that's like,
it's not enough. He's good, but it's not enough, and it's something. You go back to a couple years ago in the playoff games. Shanahan didn't even want him to throw the ball, bro. He had single-digit pass attempts in the playoffs against the Packers. They didn't want him to throw the ball, and so it's something that he's doing that makes them say, we can move off of him. Trey Lance can give us this. And if he can give us more than that, we're good because this is what Jimmy G has given us. We want that over here, and we're hoping he can give us that. And so,
listen, I'm not even confident that they think Trey Lance can give them that. I think they're going to be in the market for a quarterback.
The sad part is next year will be Trey Lance's 3rd year, and he hasn't had any significant snaps. That's the problem.
But they're ready now. Like their window is now. And they're a quarterback away. I mean, even if I hate to say this, even if you give them Kirk Cousins, they're a totally different offense. And we can go back. I want to go back to that.
You say, I hate to say this, Kirk Cousins is another example of a coach that believes in him. Zimmer didn't believe in him. Kevin O'Connell comes in and believes in him. It's the best he's played.
Kevin had been with him with the Redskins, which are now the Commanders. But, this is the best that he played since then. And like I said, I don't know, man. I just think Jimmy G he's probably tapped out, and this is probably the best you're going to get.
So,
but who knows? Jimmy G will probably end up whoever doesn't get Aaron Rodgers.
It'll be interesting to see how their season
Jimmy G will end up with I think Jimmy G probably ends up with the Raiders. And then you never know. Maybe Derek Carr ends up with the 49ers.
If the Raiders don't finish the season on a winning streak, they're going to have a top 7 pick. They're going to try to draft Bryce, CJ, one of these young quarterbacks. That's what I see.
Oh, but if you're the Raiders, do you just let Derek Carr go? And if you're the 49ers, do you pursue him?
Yeah, Derek Carr is not the problem. He's not the problem. No. Last year showed me Derek Carr is not the problem. Yeah. It's period. The Raiders have lost so many one-possession games. The defense can't hold a lead. If Max Crosby is not making the play, they're in trouble. It's like Max Crosby does it all, or they don't win, or they can't stop it. It's Max Crosby or bust on defense.
The fall from the throne with Chandler Jones it's just like, did he forget how to play, or is the system just not fitting him? Because he was just a double-digit sack guy last year.
Every year of his career, every year.
Like, I'm like, huh? I don't get it.
We'll see how that plays out with Jimmy G, the Raiders, Derek Carr, who knows? Now, this game here, the Ravens and the Jags, that game was a roller coaster. It was a roller coaster. Ravens take the lead, just under 2 minutes left. And Trevor Lawrence has that moment that I believe all young quarterbacks have if you're going to be great, takes them right down the field. It was like 3rd and 20. Hell of a throw, nice play, nice catch to get the first down on that last drive. But, bro, what's wrong with the Ravens? Like, what's going on?
Their defense is not what it's been in the past. If Lamar don't do it, get 90% of the offense. I know I've been very, very critical of his passing game, but I think
Hey, you know who the Ravens' leading receiver was yesterday?
Deshaun Jackson.
Nah, nah, nah. You don't even. That's what. And this is my point that I keep telling
Oh, who
you.
was it? I just see. I was gonna say that before you get
Josh
Lemon. They need to get
Oliver, like Josh
bro.
Oliver.
They need to get
You know who
Lamar
that
some more.
is?
No.
Yeah, I do. Tight end that got drafted by the Jags in the 3rd round, went to San Jose State, and they sent him to the Raiders. Like,
They need to get Lamar some more help. I think
yeah.
I think it's time that we might need to go in a different direction with an offensive coordinator. This run first scheme that only allows Lamar to pass the ball and doesn't even allow him to develop and doesn't even allow him to do. I think that their offense has become a little bit stagnant. This three
But
tight
their
end
offense
set.
isn't the. I don't believe their offense is the
Yeah,
problem.
but they need to control it. They need to they don't need to be so control the clocky. They need to be. I don't think they're as if Lamar ain't making explosive plays, where are you gonna get it from?
This is the thing. You can say their pass game is elementary. They need to change. They
No,
shouldn't
it's
run the ball
beyond
so much.
elementary. That shit is more so like preschool. It is.
But their offense isn't the reason they're losing games.
Bro, no NFL team should still be running 1 and 2 man routes in 2022.
I mean, I'm not saying I disagree with conceptually how they do their pass game. I'm not saying I disagree. Their run game is fantastic, but offensively is not the reason they're losing, though. That's not the
I mean,
reason.
their defense is just not.
You have a lead, you get the lead, and your defense just gives it up. They give it up. And then they give up on a 2-point conversion. So it's not like, oh, Lamar and offense
at the end of the day, let's talk about where the defensive coordinator came from. About the nepotism and the buddy system. Oh, let me call my brother down at Michigan.
But no,
get his.
It wasn't even let me call my brother in Michigan. The brother in Michigan took him from the Ravens, and that's when he went to Michigan. He just left Michigan and went back to the Ravens.
Yeah, but he wasn't a defensive coordinator.
No, he was not. He was the linebacker coach, and they blamed Wink Martindale for the defense, and so
Bro,
that's why he came back.
People can say what they want, but the NFL game and the college game is a totally different game.
Completely
in the college
different.
Game, you got to worry about quarterback run and all this. In the NFL, it's a totally different game. The people are bigger, they're faster, they're stronger. I would like to say, as a whole, the players are smarter. So you just coaching 2 different people, and to fire a coach that was a great defensive coordinator, and for whatever the players didn't believe in him or whatever or whatnot, Marlon Humphrey has not been the same player. I don't know what that came from. Marcus Peters is older, coming off that what was it, an ACL, and they just can't cover nobody.
Well, Trevor Lawrence, hopefully this is more, or this is one of many comebacks that he has in his young career. Now let's go to one of the best teams in the league. It was a really good game, and I was just going from channel to channel watching all these games. Cincinnati Bengals, Tennessee Titans. Man, they shut Derrick Henry down. Shut him down. This might be the worst performance rushing-wise that he's had in a long time. They did a really good job. But for me, what makes it impressive is, 1, it's on the road. 2, they thought they were going to have Jamar Chase back. He didn't even play. The Bengals have a good problem on their hand. Is how you going to pay these dudes? Because you got to pay T. Higgins big bread after next year. You got to pay Jamar after that. Oh, and you also got to pay Joe. Like they got a good problem on their hands.
They do, but they're not paying anybody. Their offensive line is very young. The Bengals aren't paying anyone. They got their corner in Cheeto Bay. They got him at a really, really good deal. They just throwing Eli Apple out there and just hoping they win in spite of him. They still need to pay. They still need to.
Eli Apple is not as bad as people make him out to be, though. I'll say that.
They still need to pay the safety. They're not paying anybody. They're gonna pay these guys. They found a way to pay you and Chad. They're gonna pay these dudes. They'll get it done. They pay you, Chad, and Carson. They're gonna get it done. The one thing about the Bengals is the players that they draft, they pay. We
Are
could all
they
agree
getting
with
hot
that.
at the right time? They
I
didn't
think
lose a
they
game
are.
in November. They getting hot at the right time.
I think they are. But what they did do is they committed to say that Ryan Tannehill is going to beat us, and Ryan Tannehill is not going to beat you. I mean, their receivers. I don't know what the hell the Titans were thinking trading AJ Brown, but maybe they knew something I didn't. Um, the Titans are they're just a hard nosed, well coached football team. They're not bad, but they're not
They ain't
great.
nothing special.
Yeah, they're not bad. They're not great though.
Okay. Did you see the interview with Kyler Murray after? I don't know if you saw the play. It was 4th and 1, and Derwin James was manned up on DeAndre Hopkins, and it was a pick. It was 4th and 1. They threw the ball. Did you see where they asked Kyler Murray, like, hey, what went into that play call? And he said, schematically, in the way they played us, we were fucked. That was his exact words.
No, I
And
did it.
so when he says that to me, when I
They're
hear
outcoached. They're
that,
getting
it's
outcoached.
basically him saying
We're getting outcoached.
they're out coaching us. Like we called it, he was like, D Hop wasn't even the primary receiver. That was just like my only option because of the way they played us. What do
Yeah,
you make of that they don't get along. That's obvious that Kingsbury and Kyler Murray, they not on the
but they
same
both. What's
page.
crazy is they both got extensions.
But it's easier to get rid of the coach than it is to get rid of the player.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, Kingsbury went in there and he basically said Kyler is his guy.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. I'm drafting him, I recruited him in high school. I've been knowing him since he was in high school. This is the guy that I want. I don't want Josh Rosen anymore. I want this guy.
Yeah,
And it seems like he believed in him. It seems like he showed him that type of belief. I don't understand. There's something that's going on. There's some type of disconnect that the public isn't seeing, that Kyler doesn't trust him or he just doesn't like him. It's something.
bro. I just don't think that offense works. It's too spread out. The NFL is full of big, fast dudes, and I think to kind of go back, and I tell Ryan that works on our show, the thing that makes University of Georgia so good is because they're so good in the front seven. So if I can get to my quarterback, your quarterback with four people, it does not matter how spread out you are. And I think that's what's tough for Kyler. In the NFL, everybody has enough good defensive linemen, and it makes the windows so much smaller. So when you have things that like schematically, like they don't have much route combinations when we're always in 2x2. We're always in shotgun 2x2, getting five out. We don't have very many route combinations. Like, what goes into that schematically? What can we run? Curl out, post dig, mesh, post. Like it's only so many routes. And me being a DB and you being a receiver, once I see the back swing, I already know the outside receiver's coming inside. Once I see number two go away from the slot, I know something is coming back and something behind me is going over the top.
But see,
Like,
there's some DBs, they not that well, for the most part. The coaches, they should be alerted to this. And that's why
yeah,
the Cardinals do very well first drive, first 15 plays, because it's the new stuff. And then when we got to settle in and play football, that's when their
but at the end of
tendencies
the
come
day,
out.
it don't matter. You are all pro receiver. At the end of the day, it don't matter. If I'm showing blitz and the safety not covering me, you looking at me saying, he ain't coming.
Yeah.
Right or wrong.
If he's not over the
Okay.
top, I know you're not coming.
and if I'm holding it and that safety is coming down, he's going. So when you get to that level of high level football, there's only so many things that you can do. And if every time we start out it's 2x2 like this, then bro, you done already eliminated half the stuff you can do. In order for you to get to a three-man concept, the back got to come out, or you got to tighten, or you got to come from this way. You can't run much flood action out of 2x2.
So I'm not even
So
going to use the word elementary. This is preschool as well?
I would say, yeah, this is college though. You know what I'm saying? And what makes it hard in college is because the quarterbacks can run and the hashes are in a different place and the D linemen aren't that good. Like you have to realize that everybody on the NFL team was that dude on their college team.
I got you. So I guess we go from one preschool to another.
I won't say that it's preschool.
Okay, elementary then.
I won't even say that it's that. It's just it has to evolve. If you know what I'm saying, like let's look at who was another coach that came from college. I would say, but all the coaches that come from college eventually it gets elementary. Even Chip's first year with the Eagles, they moving it up and down. They win the NFC.
But Chip got a bad rap. Chip actually was pretty successful, bro, in
Bro, I ain't gonna lie to
Philly.
you. They
He
had
was
about
pretty
seven.
successful.
They had about 7 plays. One time we played them, we held them to about 44 yards of offense. I'm talking about to the point where if they tightened a certain way down, bro, I was already basically moving to the side, like telling Avant, like, come on, bro, let's go. We're going together. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know that if you go halfway and you don't cross that hash, you're gonna try to come break back out because I can see the action. Like, and in the NFL, especially when you play these teams 2 times, this is how I fed my family. So shit, if I could find a way or circle a few plays that say this is my money play, I'm gonna do it.
Now, I don't know if you saw this, bro. We'll finish with this. What do you make of Nathaniel Hackett, the Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson, the D tackle, whatever he said? We'll never know. But what do you make of that?
Man, it's some growing frustrations, and these dudes got families to feed, and Russell's is eating good. And at the end of the day, if I'm Walton, Nathaniel Hackett, you gotta go. My pocketbook is I don't give a damn how much money I got. You don't become a billionaire by throwing away 255 million or 245 million. I need to find a coach. I need to sit down with Russell and I need to ask him, what is it that made you successful in Seattle? What can we do to make you successful again? And you know, this year didn't go how we planned it.
Like, let's be honest, bro. Like,
listen.
Hey, you remember the campaign? Let Russ cook. You remember that?
Man, I seen some shit. It had a piece of bread, some cheese, and some ice cubes, and it said "Let Russ cook."
What I'm saying is, when they were saying "Let Russ cook," Seattle and Pete did it, and it wasn't effective. They didn't get the results that they wanted or they would have liked to get, and so he pulled back.
Going back to Seattle does nothing. Nathaniel Hackett gotta go.
No, what I'm saying is, when you're talking about, let me go ask Russell Wilson what was successful.
I need to go ask him. Like, what can we do?
He thought it was him.
No.
He thought it was him.
He needs to be in a run-first offense, a play-action offense. He needs to be mobile. But the problem of it is I've had a quarterback tell me that was a teammate of mine, and he's a Fox guy now, Mark Sanchez. He said, when I played for Chip, I told him, like, I'm going to do all of this riding out on this quarterback run game. But I'm going to tell you one thing straight up. As soon as I get hit one time, I'm never fucking keeping it again or carrying out a fake. And these quarterbacks don't want to be hit at this level. Like, they do not want to be hit. Like, that's why they got all these rules. Nobody wants to take that pounding. And Seattle's got a good defense. I mean, not Seattle, sorry. Denver's got a good defense. Giving up Chubb was a clear indication that they know that they're not there because they need to get picks back because they gave up fucking house, back house, guest house for everything to get this quarterback. And, you know, it's not the answer.
Is Russell Wilson, who's at fault here?
I'm not even going to ask about him being at fault because I'm going to go take the approach of a businessman. I'm stuck with him. I need to figure out how to make
we're not even talking the business side of this. We're talking the coaching and the quarterback because, let's be real, they both get way too much credit.
This shit was a dud from the time it began. I give you $245 million.
You know what? I did some research. And
you don't play one fucking preseason snap.
I did some research because I knew we were going to talk about this, right?
Yeah.
So I said, let me look up Nathaniel Hackett, and I put it in my notes. So he was 8 years an offensive coordinator, you know, before he got the head coaching job in Denver. But he didn't call plays in Green Bay. Matt LaFleur called the plays. But people also don't recall, I don't know if you recall this, he was offensive coordinator in Jacksonville. You remember that? When they had Jalen Ramsey, Calais Campbell.
He was bad.
Their offense was terrible. They were winning on the back of the defense. The offense was terrible, but people don't recall. Nathaniel Hackett was the offensive coordinator with the Jags. You know where they ranked? 27th, 15th, and 30th in offense. 30th. It's only 32 teams. And so Russell Wilson has proven that I can play at a high level year in and year out. Has Nathaniel Hackett showed that he can coach at a high level year in and year out? He hasn't shown that.
Like what bothers me more, TJ, is the fact that not even his like coaching, it's his game management. Week 1, he goes for a 60-something yard. He lets the clock run down to attempt a 60-yard field goal outdoors in a stadium that's on the water that consistently has wind.
And then the next week, he let the media and people get to him, and he does something completely different instead of sticking to your guns.
At home. Then he doesn't attempt like a 50-something yard field goal.
Yes.
In thin air. Okay. So then, 2 weeks ago, he calls a pass play on 3rd and 10. Then he turns around and blames Russell Wilson and saying, you got to go down right there. You got to do something to keep you have to do something to keep the clock moving. Yeah, motherfucker, call a run play.
This is the thing, is Nathaniel Hackett, he wasn't ready to be a head coach. He's not ready to be a head coach. And he has to take the majority of the blame, because this is what's going on. When that defensive lineman does what he did to Russell Wilson, yeah, you can say he's trying to get me amped up. We got to F and go. We got whatever it is. You think somebody's going to do that to Patrick Mahomes? You think they're going to do that to Tom Brady? You think they doing that to Aaron Rodgers?
I think they blaming each other right now.
No, they're not. Who's blaming each other? Offense, defense, or Hackett and Wilson?
Hackett and Wilson. I think Russell Wilson is very condescending. I think that he ain't gonna ever complain in the media. He ain't gonna ever visually complain. But it was clearly a disconnect when he was in Seattle. There's a lot of things that get out about Les Russ Cook, but Russ never talks. But he also never says he didn't say it.
I don't know Russell Wilson. I don't know how he is in the locker room. I know it, at least from reports, it seemed like people in Seattle didn't like the way he was treated, like he was above everyone else. But when that defensive tackle approached Russell that way, that's not a good sign, bro. It really isn't, because they're basically what you said earlier. You got all this money and this is what you're doing? This is what you're doing? And so, again,
doomed, man.
You've been in meetings. You've been in meetings.
Not only do they not score, though.
Hey, what you think that D-line in meetings? What you think these other position coaches are saying to their players in meetings? You know that happens.
The division has started.
Oh, yeah, they're starting to divide. And so the only way they can get this thing back to where they want to hack it, he must go. There's no way we're going to see year 2 of this. And it's kind of crazy because the owners, they haven't come out and said a word. They didn't hire Hackett, though. No, but they've been quiet, and that tells me they know he gone.
But this is the thing, though.
He gone.
This is the thing, though. The top owner bought the team for his kid and the wife.
Hey, think about this.
I researched the structure. Here's a team for Christmas.
Hey, think about this, though. The Broncos are so bad, they can't even benefit from being bad because Seattle had a first-round pick. You don't even get the benefit from that by going to draft somebody extremely high because
I'm going to tell you one thing.
Seattle has your pick.
I'm going to tell you one thing. If Bryce Young is around when I'm picking, I'm sorry, Gino. I'll give you some little contract. I'll give Gino a little something. But that's my future.
Nah, it sucked for Bryce. Bryce going to the Houston Texans. They're going to have the first pick. They're going to draft Bryce Young. We all know that. So they won't have that. But if I'm Denver Broncos and I'm in charge, I'm going with who has proven themselves. If I go off a track record, Nathaniel Hackett, 8 years an offensive coordinator, didn't call plays in Green Bay, you're not proven because when you were calling plays in Jacksonville with a top 5 quarterback, I don't care. He didn't develop. Blake Bortles. Oh, I wonder why he didn't develop. Oh, because Nathaniel Hackett
But
was his coordinator.
what you waiting for to fire him though? Like, what are they waiting for?
Just letting it play out. I don't know, but he's good as gone because Russell Wilson is proven. But I'm be honest. I don't know if we'll ever see. I don't know. I'm not even going to straddle the
We're
fence.
not going to ever see.
We're not going to see the Russell Wilson of Seattle because Russell Wilson is a good player that Pete Carroll made look better than what his talent is. That's
what I did.
my
I went back
opinion.
and did some research too. When Seattle's had their best teams, Russell was only passing for in the mid 200s, mid to low 200s.
Yes.
When their team started to fall back a little bit, when they started to rely more on him more, that wasn't a successful recipe for them. And I think, I was a big advocate of Russell Wilson.
I ain't gonna lie though. I did pick the Broncos to finish last in the division before the season. I had them finishing last.
You did. I don't know, man. Well, I'm interested to see. What if the Raiders run a few off here in 2 weeks?
All their losses are one possession games. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's not like you're saying something that, they've had a lot of one-loss games, and so they can do it.
Yeah.
Will they?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Well, we appreciate you guys for joining us. Next week, Orlando will be here. He'll probably have some money by then, or I'll probably have to pay for his flight. We appreciate you joining us, airing it out. Fubo Sports Network. We'll see you next week, man.
Appreciate y'all. It was different this week, but we made it work.
Yeah, take care. Yeah. Love y'all.
All right.
We out.
All right.